In 3 minutes, why did Israelis just hold 3 national elections in a single year? And why are they likely to head right back to the polls again, and again, and again? I'm local journalist David Sheen, and this is Behind Frenemy Lines. We have the 2 main candidates, incumbent Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and his main challenger Benny Gantz, but neither of them can claim an outright victory because neither of the parties won close to half of the electorate. And in fact, no Israeli political party ever has. In Israel, we don't vote for someone to represent a riding or a district. We vote directly for the national parliament. So there's no first-past-the-post system. Smaller parties don't get weeded out. If you get at least 3.25% of the national vote, you're in. To hold at least half the parliament, the leaders of the large parties need to cobble together a coalition by offering the small parties incentives to join their government, like making them ministers. So if this system has been in place for decades, why isn't it working anymore? Well, this year Netanyahu was indicted for serious corruption crimes, including manipulating multiple media outlets to provide him with positive coverage. Now, all the religious parties are still willing to join a Netanyahu government to grant him immunity for his alleged crimes. But none of the secular parties are willing to do so. And without at least one of them on his side, he still falls just short of the halfway mark. Okay, so doesn't that mean that all the other parties put together equal just over half the parliament? Doesn't it mean that the leader of the largest party amongst them could unite them into a coalition, form an alternative government, and replace Netanyahu as prime minister? Well, there's no way that they can do that without including the third largest party in the parliament. And that's not going to happen, because it's the party representing the Palestinian citizens of Israel. They're the only party that consistently calls for an end to the siege on Gaza, an end to the occupation of the West Bank, and an end to the system of privileges for Jews over non-Jews. Policies which all the major parties support. Without those votes, they too fall short of forming a majority. And that's why we're stuck in a standoff. So until at least one of those secular parties agrees to join the Netanyahu government and grant him immunity from criminal proceedings, or until all those parties agree to get over their racism and include the Palestinian party in their coalition, we may end up heading back to the polls again indefinitely. Of course, none of these elections have any legitimacy anyways. In all the territories that Israel controls, all Jews have the right to vote, but that's only true for less than a third of Palestinians living in the same land. If everyone here had equal rights, then the number of Palestinians in the parliament would roughly equal their percentage of the population, about the same as the number of Jews. And that's why, no matter how many elections it holds, Israel is not a democracy, but an ethnocracy, where the rights you have depend on what ethnic group you were born into. Those are the Israeli elections. I'm David Sheen, and this is Behind Frenemy Lines.